Hey guys, it's Alex from Shuffle Up here, and today I wanted to share with you my new deck list for Roblucci. Coming into this new format with less white bids, this deck is becoming a lot more stronger to play, and I'm finding it a lot of fun. Took it to my local store championships, and I went 3-2, so it wasn't the best. It's definitely not top deck in the format, but it's a lot of fun to play, and the playstyle kind of reminds me of when OPO1 Eustace Kid used to be prevalent, especially with the leader's ability, where you would be able to do multiple swings to finish off your opponent. The difference is that Roblucci actually has a little bit more power in his swing. You can stack all your Don on him because his ability only requires you to KO another unit. So hypothetically, if you fill up your board with your own units and you put all your Don in Roblucci's swing, and then use your board units to try and KO one of their units, you then fulfill the obligation. You're able to restand the Roblucci just by trashing 2 cards from the hand and then swing for 15 again. So usually when you get your opponent to 1 life, that's kind of like when you're ready to go for lethal your next turn. So that's pretty much your goal, is to try and chip away that life point while controlling the board and getting into that kind of lethal range. So let's go through this deck list. I've ordered it from lowest cost to highest cost, and we'll start off with the first, which is the Suru. Suru is kind of your 2k counter, but at the same time, the on-play ability does come in handy sometimes when you have your Garp on the field and it's sticking. It's able to make neg 2 the cost of your opponent's creatures, so very, very useful, but mostly a 2k counter. Our searches, because this deck really requires a bit of a consistency and you don't get too much draw power in black at the moment, so we play 4 Spandam. I play a hybrid build, so this sometimes whiffs, and it's not the worst to whiff on this. Like, you're still attempted to clear your hand, and then you're filling up your graveyard with Navy units, which is okay. It allows you to activate some of the CP9 effects, but I find Spandam to be less useful in this deck than its Searcher counterpart, which is the new and improved Brand New. So Brand New came in this format, and it's kind of like the Navy Searcher. It's really good. If you play the hybrid build of Lucci, I recommend trying out Brand New. You're able to do the same thing as Spandam, costs a little bit more. So when you play this build, you kind of like want to go second instead of going first. But still, against some of those faster matchups, you do want to go first, and then that's when Spandam becomes much more valuable. But your Navy cards end up being so much more versatile in this format. So you kind of want to see Brand New when you mulligan. That's your kind of mulligan target. Tashagi from the structure deck is very good as a 2k counter, so definitely recommend playing those, and it's also a free cost for 4, so you can probably play it too if you need another body on board. But the better free cost to actually play on board is your Fukuro. Fukuro is actually such a strong blocker because it cannot be KO'd by effects. A lot of people forget this and try and waste removal on it, but yeah, so this card can actually be very sticky and keep your other units on the board, so that way you can kind of get control, especially when you combo this with a Garp. 5-drop Garp is so good, which you'll see later on. We play 4 Khalifa. She's the waifu of this OPO3 arc, and a very cool card to get. Definitely have to play 4 for the counters. I use her counters more than anything, but at the same time, if you combo this with Blueno, which is the 5-drop that allows you to put it on him and block, you can pull this back from your graveyard because it's a 4 cost or less CP9, and then you can use this ability to draw 2 cards and trash 2, so basically fix your hand and get that hand power back. So Khalifa, very strong, good card in this format, and also 2k counter, so must play. Kuzan is very, very awesome. This is probably push it up to a 4 of, but I've only got 3 of them at the moment. This Kuzan is searchable by Brand New, the other Kuzan isn't. That's very important to note. And on play, you get to draw that card, so the draw power on play is already good enough, but at the same time, as it attacks, you can actually give one of your opponents minus 4 costs, which opens up a lot of big units for removal by your Garps and your Suzunos. So next 4-drop that's very important to play is your Borsalinos. They're a good stat line blocker. They end up being a 6k blocker on your opponent's turn, which is so good. And you can really use them to push pressure as well. So I end up attacking with Borsalino a lot more than I am actually blocking with him, because it's just another good body on board. After it's done its job of blocking, you can then utilize it to start chipping away that life. So yeah, Borsalino at 4, searchable Brand New, so good. We play 2 Kumadori. Kumadori is a really good target for Bleno, and it's a CP9. You need to have CP9 in your deck if you're playing Spandam. So this is just another one that we could maybe get off the top and end up putting in our hand. So very useful to play at least 2. Some people play 4. But the reason why I'm playing 2 is because I wanted to fit room for the Kakus. Kakus actually are very much live in the hybrid build, and you can end up using them a lot on turn 3 to actually place 2 CP9s from your graveyard back into your deck, and then I guess put to the KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 3 or less, which usually can end up being big characters if you combo it with something else that actually can decrease the cost. This ends up being live more than you think, so definitely play Kaku. You find that you end up using him more than you expect. Bleno, so good. It's a blocker. I always use him as a blocker. So this one, unlike Borsalino, doesn't really swing most of the time. He's a blocker that I will always play if I know I have a CP9 target in the graveyard. It's 2 units for the price of 1, and it's a blocker. It's so good. So definitely play Bleno. Its effect is on KO, you get to pick a 4 cost or less CP9 from your graveyard and put it back on the field. And usually it's Khalifa, so I can fix my hand up and get some more better cards in my hand. So definitely Bleno is a 4 of. I won't disagree with that. Monkey D. Garb. This is the structure deck of Monkey D. Garb 5-drop. You tap him. It's his main ability. You can do it every turn. And then you can KO one of your opponent's characters with 4 or less. This ends up being like, if it sticks, it ends up controlling the board for the rest of the game. People do not want to keep this on the board, and people always target this for removal or trying to get rid of this as fast as possible. I would maybe pump this up to 4, but I feel like 2 has served me pretty well, but I do like seeing him, and I don't see him as often as I like. And when he sticks on the board, it's pretty good. He's a 5-drop for 6k as well. So for the stat line and for the cost, that's a lot of value. Sakazuki, very good card. Play free over this because it's almost guaranteed removal of anything that's prevalent in this format. Gets rid of Zoros, gets rid of Marco, 5-drops. It's getting rid of almost all the threats. It does struggle against some of the higher stat line cards, but now that Whitebeard's out of the format and no one's playing the Edward Newgate, this kind of ends up being so useful. There was a few games though where there was a 9k 9-drop, sorry, that I couldn't get rid of, and I didn't have the way of bringing down the cost in hand, so I ended up losing to it. That's the Doffy. It brought down the Draco Mihawk, but most of the time Sakazuki hits everyone in the format. We have 2 Isho. Isho can sometimes be game changing when someone stacks their hands and they have exactly 6 cards, and you want to get that advantage by removing 2 cards from their hand. So if the ability is, if on the play, if your opponent has 6 cards or more in their hand, you get to rip 2 random cards from their hand. And it can be sometimes so good to just rip the main key cards out of their hand that they were planning to play the next turn. So Isho can be great, but I was playing him at 3 and I dropped him to 2. Because seeing him too often can sometimes feel like a brick. It's a very high stat cost, but I still think 2 is a good number, because even if you don't need to play him and you have a different kind of game matchup that you don't find Isho to be useful, you can actually end up using him as discard fodder for the Khalifas and for the ability of Rob Lucci. So 2 is fine. I don't see it going lower than that. And then we have the 1 token Kuzan secret. This is not searchable for brand new, so I was playing free at one point. It says former Navy as type, so it's now, like, after I found out you can't search with it, I dropped it down to 1 because it's still good when it sticks on the board. It still could be used as discard fodder. So definitely just in there for a flex. I guess if you really wanted to, you could probably take that out and switch it out for the 4th Kuzan 4-drop. And then the only counter cards we play in the deck, 2 Shockwaves. On trigger, the trigger ability is great. You just KO one of your opponents 4 or less. Very good. And then also during your opponent's turn, if they swing, you can use this to give yourself plus 4,000 counter and also destroy a creature that's cost of 3 or less, I believe. Yes. So that is my deck list for Rob Lucci. If you guys enjoyed it, enjoy this kind of content, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, follow me, and comment down below what you guys would probably change up in this build. If you guys think I'm adding something in here that's stupid. I know Kuzan 10-drop is probably a bit overkill, but it's a lot of fun to end up playing the 10-drops. Maybe the Ishos can be dropped, I don't know. Give me your opinion in the comments, guys. Let me know. And thank you guys for watching. This has been Alex from Shuffle Up. See you guys next time.